I'm here with Mr. Lelei LeLaulu, who is a development entrepreneur and keynote speaker at the recent Wyse Confederation, which is the World Youth Student Educational Confederation Conference in Manchester, about social responsibility, responsible tourism. Lelei, what did you walk away from that conference feeling about the role of student and youth travel and its impact on sustainability in this world?
The World Student Education and Travel Conference in Manchester, I think, was a huge success, because what they did was they focused their attention on the future of the industry and how big it really is. My point was that people don't really understand how big the youth travel market is. We're talking about 18% of the entire total global travel market, which means that we're talking figures close to $200 billion a year from the youth market alone. What I was trying to stress was the fact that the youth market can be an enormous tool for development and combating poverty in different parts of the world. For example, backpackers, people usually dismiss backpackers as a pest and they don't pay anything, and they're not useful to the mainline tourism, which is correct. But for me as a development person, a backpacker spends almost €2,000 per trip. They stay with local families, they pay the local families money for being there, they eat the local food, they learn the local language, and quite often they'll help the local communities constructing a school or a clinic or whatever. So these are hugely important troops, I think, in the fight against poverty. So I think that the backpackers plus the gap year people, increasingly students are taking gap years or gap semesters to go and do something useful in different parts of the world. So I was trying to focus the world travel market on approaching the battle against poverty and deprivation in a more coordinated fashion. And I was very encouraged by the Secretariat of the Worldwide Confederation for Youth and Education Travel that they see the possibilities and they're keen to work with us at the Innovations for Sustainable Development Center to work together to harness the power of youth travel for development purposes. Again, I'm talking about the youth market taking up 18% of the world travel market, and it'll probably increase because the grown-ups aren't traveling as much, but their kids are. So we may see this going above 20%. So we're looking at excess of $200 billion a year. This is how big the market is, and I think it's an enormous market that we can use for change and for development around the world. There was enormous receptivity by the people who run the world's youth education and travel market and actually doing something about climate change, because especially in Europe and North America, the sensitivity to the importance of climate change is enormous, and it's growing exponentially. So they really want to be involved in projects which are climate friendly or sort of help destinations become climate friendly. And of course, this is the way that the industry is moving anyway. So these young people can actually be the building blocks for what is eventually going to be a much, much more green and climate friendly industry, which is tourism, of course, which is the world's largest industry. And they have a special responsibility, and they can play a special role in making this possible.
Most of the student youth travel tourism is private sector centric. You as a development person and coming from that world, do you see the NGOs, the international finance organizations such as World Bank, etc., participating? And do you see a bridge here between both the private and the non-private sector and their investments thereof towards development and climate change?
Well, you know, the World Youth Education and Travel market started off as a purely non-profit venture, but what's happening now is that they became so successful and the people grew up, and then they turned themselves into for-profit companies. Now, if to look at how successful these are, you find that a lot of these commercial operations dealing with youth travel, they have been bought by very large travel companies, like TUI of Germany has bought several of the youth travel companies. So this is happening, but what's happening too is that there are more academic institutions and NGOs coming aboard as well. So the non-profit sector is increasing. What's happening is that I'm on the board of George Washington University's Business School, and they're talking about having a voluntourism summit to look at ways of coordinating the possibilities of world student and youth travel. So it's coming together slowly, and once it does, you'll never be able to ignore it again. And every time you see a backpacker, you'll say, right on.
Thank you, Lelei.
Thank you.